Hey everyone, Tim with Collect Jurassic back with another news update talking about Mattel Amber Collection today. Very exciting stuff to go over for 2021 and possibly beyond into 2022. Talking about Mattel's collector-based action figure line with added articulation. Amber Collection's kind of got off to a rocky start with lots of different Raptor repaints and sort of staggered releases, but hopefully that's about to change in the year to come. Starting off with some really exciting releases which you might have already seen, including the Jurassic Park 3 Pteranodon figure. This is one of the figures you can actually pre-order right now on BigBadToyStore.com, and it's pretty exciting because we've only gotten raptors and Dilophosaurus for this line. We haven't gotten a lot of other dinosaur species. In this case, this is actually a flying reptile, but in any case, it's a all-new figure to collect, not a repaint, not a retool, anything like that. And it's the Jurassic Park 3 paint deco, which is pretty interesting since Jurassic Park 3 doesn't generally get a lot of love with collectibles, but that paint deco from the movie looks fantastic on this figure. All those browns sort of modeled all over the body, and it's just in my opinion, a much cooler design than what we see from Jurassic World's Pteranodon even. And the figure itself has some interesting features too. What looks to be some sort of bendable wing articulation, which is a little bit different, sort of like the tails on the raptors. Lets you fold them up or expand them so you can see the full wingspan of the Pteranodon. And it's a big, large figure too once you get that wingspan all spread out. So pretty exciting. I'm kind of interested to see how this rubber holds up in the long run. You know, that stuff always kind of makes collectors nervous, especially with lots of bending and posing, but hopefully it all works out, and this is a figure that will last despite all of that bendable wing articulation that it comes with. Elsewhere, we also have a pretty detailed face too. Like all Jurassic Pteranodons, it does have some teeth, which isn't technically correct. I don't think these things didn't have teeth, but it is kind of a hallmark for Jurassic Pteranodons. So pretty cool figure. Again, kind of remains to be seen how this bendable wing thing is gonna work, but hopefully once we get the figure in hand, all fears will be sort of put to rest, and we can actually really get excited about this one and see what kind of cool poses it can get into with that articulation. The other figure that we have actual eyes on is the Lost World Tiger Raptor. This would be our 5th Raptor in the Amber Collection line. They're really getting their use out of this mold. We obviously have this would be the 6th Raptor. Well, if you count the Jurassic Park Raptor and then all of the Raptor Squad members, this would be the 6th Raptor. Again, it's that tiger repaint from the Lost World. This one hit the internet a few weeks ago. Both of these photos of the Raptor and the Pteranodon are from a Chinese auction site. So when those photos hit the internet, the reception was a little bit lukewarm. A lot of collectors and fans sort of felt like the face was missing something, whether it's the sculpt not quite hitting right, or maybe it's the paint coloration with a little bit too much white, a little bit kind of a different color around the eye. But overall, I think we all just need to hold until we get this final figure in our hands to pass judgment, because this is just an early look at the figure. Sometimes lighting, angles, things like that sort of change what the figure could actually be. But let's go ahead and look at some of these newer reveals for 2021 right out the gate. Again, figures up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store, a couple of these, Ian Malcolm version 2 and Ray Arnold, and we'll also talk about another figure that's not up for pre-order as we get into more reveals in this video. But let's hit up Ray Arnold first. This one's very exciting because it's a new character that we've never gotten any kind of toy for, whether it's Kenner, Hasbro, even Mattel. We've never seen a Ray Arnold figure, and he is a pretty kind of iconic character in the franchise. A lot of great lines, so it's kind of cool that he's finally getting the Amber Collection treatment. Guessing he'll come with his lab coat and headset, but we'll just have to see. Maybe he has an arm detachment feature, which would be appropriate and kind of a cool little nod to the movie. But other than that, we really don't know much about it in terms of accessories or anything like that, but still just exciting that we're finally getting a Ray Arnold figure after all these years of not having any kind of toy or even collectible based on the character. Next up is a little bit more mysterious, and that's Ian Malcolm version 2. So Amber Collection already has an Ian Malcolm figure. That would be the first human figure released as part of the line, and the Ian Malcolm we got is very similar to the Legacy Collection Ian Malcolm figure in the 3 3.75 inch scale, just sort of scaled up to 6 inches. I mean, it definitely has more detail, but there's not much going on with the figure. It came with a flare and a cup, but other than that, pretty simple figure. So what's version 2 going to be? Is it going to be an updated version of that? Is it going to be a shirtless version of Ian Malcolm from the end of Jurassic Park? Or maybe it'll be Lost World, or maybe it'll even be Jurassic World. We really don't know what version this is. We just know it's different than the Ian Malcolm figure we've gotten. Speaking of kind of mystery re-releases, there's also some Velociraptors on the way. I'm not talking about Tiger Velociraptor or Maraptor Squad figures. I'm talking about a all-new Velociraptor figure for the Amber Collection. And again, we just don't know what that raptor will be. It's supposed to be from Jurassic Park, so maybe it's a updated repaint. I know a lot of people were underwhelmed by the paint application of the first Amber Collection Velociraptor, so I personally would love to see it get a little more love in the paint department with some more patterning and some more stripes to really give some sort of saturation and contrast from the movie paint deco to the actual toy. But who knows, maybe this will be another Jurassic Park 3 Raptor. That's certainly not out of the question, but a figure on the way for 2021 or possibly 2022, but let's keep going. More figures to look at. Another grouping that I'm really excited about because it includes one of my favorite characters. That would be Dr. Alan Grant, but also Robert Muldoon, another franchise favorite, as well as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which we'll get to that one in a minute here because we don't really know what version of T-Rex we'll be getting, but Alan Grant, let's talk about him first. This is probably the figure that I've been waiting for since Amber Collection was actually first announced. It's just a classic character to me, and obviously a classic toy if we're talking about the Kenner Alan Grant figure. So I'm really excited to see what they do with the Amber Collection figure. I'm hoping he comes with his blue shirt and all that stuff, obviously, but in terms of accessories, probably the Raptor Claw. I guess a flare, they could kind of repack that from Malcolm if they wanted, but I don't know. I love Alan Grant. I'm really excited to see what they do. I hope it's not just a upscale of the Legacy Collection figure. I hope it does something different, but we'll just have to see. And also, it's possible that this could be a Jurassic Park 3 version of Alan Grant. We'll just have to see. But next up is Robert Muldoon. This has to be Robert Muldoon from Jurassic Park, since that was the first and only movie that Robert Muldoon was in, so no chance that it's from a different movie. And I'm sure he's going to come with his signature shotgun and his hat as well. Other than that, I'm not sure what accessories Robert Muldoon could possibly come with, but you know who's going to have those high socks showing off those thighs and calves that everyone kind of gives grief to Robert Muldoon over. But another great figure that I think a lot of people are looking forward to next to Alan Grant was Robert Muldoon. It's kind of funny that Mattel saved these really classic characters a little later in the line and gave us Dennis Nedry and Owen and Alan Grant Owen and Ian Malcolm first, but glad to see Robert Muldoon is finally going to join the roster. We also have T-Rex hitting the Amber Collection, but we know from the price point of $29.99 that this probably isn't some giant size Amber Collection T-Rex with a ton of articulation. It's going to be something small enough to fit in the same box that the Raptors and the Dilophosaurus and Pteranodon came in, but a T-Rex instead. So conjecture leads me to believe that this is probably some sort of juvenile baby T-Rex from Lost World. I mean, they could kind of break the whole scale of the line and do a T-Rex that's super articulated, that's an adult, but just in a smaller size. That'd be kind of disappointing. I really want them to kind of stick with the scale. So guessing this is going to be baby T-Rex from Lost World, but we'll have to see when the figure comes out what it actually will be. Our last grouping includes John Hammond, Ellie Sattler, and Dimorphodon. Noteworthy because John Hammond is a popular Legacy Collection release, and Ellie Sattler is the first female figure to join the line, which is kind of surprising we've gotten this far without any female human characters yet. But let's talk about John Hammond first. John Hammond is a super popular toy from Mattel in terms of the 3.75-inch line, and I guess it was only a matter of time before it hit Amber Collection. I'm hoping they pack in some more detail here, given he'll probably have his cane again, but I'd really like to see them expand on the sculpt that we got for 3.75. with some more details, maybe around the shirt, especially because the shirt on the smaller figure is sort of weird how it folds up at the neck and doesn't really close. I'd like to see something a little more sculpted for this bigger collector-based version. It's going to be kind of funny to get a really articulated Hammond to see what kind of cool toy photos we can take with him with that added articulation. Ellie Sattler's super exciting though, because again, this is the first female character we've gotten out of Amber Collection, and arguably one of the most iconic characters in the franchise, regardless of gender, is Ellie Sattler. So again, taking this long to come out with a figure of her is a little surprising, but I'm sure fans will be super excited. I'm assuming that it's going to be the Jurassic Park version, but it's always possible that this could be a listing for Dominion. We just don't know. I mean, all these listings are in Target, and they don't really have a lot of details, so we really don't know exactly what movie each figure will come from, but I'm guessing Dr. Ellie Sattler here will be from Jurassic Park with her classic outfit, maybe even the raincoat. It remains to be seen what that version of the character will be. Our last figure we're going to look at is Dimorphodon, one of Jurassic World's species that we get lots and lots of toys of, so not too surprising to see it come here to the Amber Collection line. Scale-wise, I wonder if it's going to be a little bigger, or if there's going to be two of them in the box or something like that. I mean, if you think about it, you're paying $30 for the Pteranodon that we talked about earlier in the video. So if you paid $30 for this one and it was smaller, that really wouldn't make sense. Nor would it make sense to scale it up to the size of the Pteranodon. So we'll just have to see what the final Dimorphodon pack is. But my money's on it having maybe two different figures or some other kind of bigger accessory to make it worth the price point. But that's all the figures we have to talk about today. Quite a few we got through. Again, this is all coming at us from Amber Collection in 2021, possibly into 2022. All this information is sort of out there on the internet, different retail sites, and a lot of it is also in the Target inventory system here in the US. So all of this stuff is kind of soft confirmed, I would say, as right around the corner in the next year or so, which is pretty exciting. So we'll just have to stay tuned and see what other information we get about this line. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. I'm Tim with Collect Jurassic, and thanks for watching.